Namaste. Today I am going to talk about some of the shlokas attributed to fire, Agni, Deva in Samaveda. It's part of Purvarchika Agneya Parva and first chapter. From that, fourth khanda or fourth part, sixth shloka or continuous shloka number 40. The creator of this shloka is Praskanva Kanva, Rishi Praskanva Kanva. He says that in the early morning when sun rises, just at that time, some special energies come into existence via rays of sun. And we know that at many different places it is mentioned that Ashwini Kumara or Ashwinis, Ashwinau, meaning twin brothers, known as Ashwini Kumars. They ride on horses or a chariot with horses and enter into the atmosphere of the earth when the sun rises at that moment, that instance, and they bring the dawn. Now, it is mentioned at many times at various places that 20 minutes before sun rises and 20 minutes after the sun rises, so total 40 minutes, this period is very important for well-being of our body, mind and soul. So people generally prescribe doing Agnihotra or Pranagnihotra at this time. Whenever sun rises, at that moment that's very important, and 20 minutes before and 20 minutes after, total 40 minutes period, it's very important. And Rishi Praskanva Kanva mentions that here in this shloka of Samaveda. So it's very important, and if you can follow that, it will benefit a lot. Because Ashwini Kumaras, there are two Kumars. One Kumar is attributed to general well-being of life, and the other Kumara is attributed to curer of many diseases. So it's important. Even if we don't believe in Ashwini Kumaras or the shloka, it is important to feel the difference between when we wake up before sun rises or when we wake up after sun rises. So there is a difference which our body or mind can feel very easily. The continuous shloka number 45, its fifth part and first shloka. The Rishi is Vasishtha Maitra Varuni. He mentions here Sanatana Agni Deva. Sanatana meaning the fire that existed always, eternal. Now, by using this word, he is probably referring to the fire that was part of Big Bang. Then in the next shloka, continuous shloka number 46, Rishi Bharga Pragatha, he says that fire is found in forest and in womb, mother's womb, and below the earth, below the land, the soil, within the earth, as invisible fire. So at these three places, fire is found. Now this observation is very remarkable. The Rishi, we can obviously very well know that forests, generally many a times there is conflagration and there is big fire. We also hear that many a times in today's times. So that fire is very obvious to find. But fire that is within mother's womb, that's a very good observation by a Rishi of that time. And the third one, the fire that is beneath the land, it's within the earth, at the core of the earth. So that is also a very good observation, because there is there are many places we see lava and uh, volcanoes, but to know that, I don't remember that there is any active volcano in the land of India, Bharat. So this Rishi must have traveled across many regions and might have found a lava, a volcano. So he could make this observation. The continuous shloka number 47, Rishi Saubhari Kanva. Here he mentions that fire is the one who uh, who is kind of torch bearer or path shower for Aryan race. They don't say race, but they use the word Arya. So Arya could be anything, any person living in India, that is Arya. Or there are certain scholars believe that Aryan is a race, and so fire is considered path torchbearer or path shower or guide to Aryans. In shloka number 49, Rushe Suditi Purumida Angirasa. Here he seeks two things from fire. Fire is Deva, God. So this Rishi seeks two important things. Wealth. Now wealth could be anything. The physical wealth, meaning money, at that time it was gold and cows and horses, they were considered wealth or dhana. So he wants dhana from fire, Agni. And secondly, he wants a good house with better lighting. So that is also very important. So here Rishi asks something which is part of our daily routine, which is part of our social life. He does not seek any spiritual or anything that a devotee would say, but rather he seeks or he asks for normal things, meaning wealth and a good house with good lights. In shloka 51, Rishi Saubhari Kanva, he says that Agni, fire, is equivalent to Indra. Indra and fire, Indra and Agni, they both are similar in strength. And Divodas is the one for whom fire first came into existence, meaning the natural fire was there, but the human made fire, the human processed, or when a human uses a tool and generates fire, that fire was first created for Divodas. Now Divodas has two meanings. If we literally take that word as a name for a person, then Divodas is considered one of the first kings mentioned in the Vedas. And if we don't take that as a name, if we try to interpret that word as a meaning of a person who is devoted for social welfare. So Divodasa is the person who works for the betterment of the lives of others, like scientists. When a scientist spends his life or her life, it's for the betterment or the well-being of the society. So Divodas is also someone who is equivalent to a scientist in today's words. So it is possible that if Divodas is a king, then he himself or his or he might have asked his followers or his I'm finding a good word for that. So people, he might have paid them to create fire, like a wealthy person invest into a company and ask people to create something for them. So that is also possibility. And devodas meaning a person who is devoted to well-being of the others in the society. He might have spent his life to create fire artificially using tools. So that's what Rishi Saubhari Kanva says. Now, Shloka 53. It is one of the shlokas by very famous Rishi Vishvamitra Gathina. Vishvamitra Gathina here says that fire is capable of uniting all the elementary particles of a matter. And fire is the one that caused or that created all different matters, including water, meaning liquid form of matter, and the rest of the matters. Now, even if it is invisible, it still is within the matter. That's what Rishi Vishwamitra says. And that is, in modern terms, it's very correct. If we study elementary particles or just particle physics or chemistry, we very well know that if you want to unite basic elements and create a matter or a molecule, then we have to provide energy, external energy, which is fire. So fire brings or unites those basic elements together to form matter. And fire is also required to create liquefied form of matter. Say iron, if you give fire, it becomes liquefied. But here the Rishi mentions water. Water, we can say that when the Big Bang occurred, there was a big fire, and that fire is kind of catalyst to generate many different elements and matters and all that. But eventually, very hot matter might have fused together and created H2O particles, which eventually might have cooled down and become water. So, but the ultimate cause of the root of water is fire, and that fire is not visible, but it still stays in the matter, including water, which is very true. Every particle in this universe, it has some energy. So if there is energy, it is considered fire. So Vishwamitra Gathina talks very subtle things that modern physics has discovered in last 200-300 years. Next shloka, number 54, by Rishi Kanvadhaura. Kanvadhaura says that the flame is always there for the human beings since time unknown. So that is very well right, because Big Bang created fire that still exists. We still feel the cosmic microwave background and cosmic background temperature, and we can also detect light that emanated at the time of Big Bang. And so there is fire. The fire exists, that flame exists since Big Bang. And Rishi Kanvadhaura also says that its visible form, meaning fire's visible form, Agni's visible form, is only it only brings into existence via fire ceremony, yajna. But till then, it just stays invisible as knowledge or as latent entity in people or in matter. So it seems that the Rishis of Samaveda or Vedas, they somehow knew very important aspects of science that we very recently discovered. And well, we have the shlokas and we know we can interpret their meanings, but what is missing is how come they knew all this. It is said that the Rishis perceived this knowledge in their dhyana, in their meditation. But, well, maybe we need to explore more in that. But till then, pranam.